in this video, I want to look at the who are you exercise and how we would use it in self as context. What I find is that often when we're starting to introduce the concept or the process of self as context with clients, they begin to ask questions like, well then who am I? And this is a really nice place to bring this exercise in, because clients are somewhat asking for a response. They're really curious at this point. So this is the who are you exercise. What we're looking to do is to ask a series of questions of who they are and get them to describe all of the roles that they hold. So the first question is, who are you? And we ask our client to respond each and every time with I am, and then a noun or a role that they go out and hold. So the answer is I am. Now, the I am, we're really asking our clients to actually say I am quite quickly after our question. So in our instructions, we say, I'm going to ask you a series of questions around who you are, and I'd like you to respond to me saying, I am, and then you need to think of a word. You can't repeat the word. We're asking you to find different words about you. And they can be about roles that you hold. It can be about characteristics that you hold of yourself, and so on. So the example would be, I would say, who are you? And they would say, I am a brother. So it would take them a little bit of time to think about who they are, but I want them to say I am relatively soon after I ask the question. So that would be the question, the answer, and then when they do answer, the response is always thank you. And then what we do is we actually repeat the process all again. So we repeat the question, the client gives us an answer, and then we say thank you. And then we ask again. Now we repeat this and repeat this and repeat this and repeat this. And we go through this exercise for a number of minutes. And what we find is that our clients begin to lose the ability to come up with further nouns or further roles that they hold. And there's a way that we can go in and somewhat get this to start happening a little bit earlier, where we're asking them to give us a deeper meaning. So we can actually ask them with greater curiosity. So maybe after I've done 20 or 30 who are you questions, I might say, who are you? So I would emphasize, like, there's this curiosity that I'm really trying to, who are you? And so it almost puts a little bit of pressure on them. And so they say, I am. And in that frustration, we often find that clients say, I am. And that's exactly where we want to get to, where we say, I am, and that's final, that you're allowed to actually just be. That it doesn't need to be the story about you. It doesn't need to be all these nouns, all these roles, all these descriptors about you, that you can just be. And that's that part of the question that they asked. Well, who am I? And they've answered it by saying, well, I just am. It's a really nice tool to use. The other thing that you can do with saying, well, who are you? Sometimes, and clinical judgment's involved, we can say, but who are you? So we might say, thank you, but who are you? So it's almost like we put aside some of those things that they've already said. And so after that exercise, we would definitely have a bit of a conversation with our client and look at how did they experience that, and in actual fact, how they got to that last point. The point isn't to go and wipe out everything else. The point is to go out and understand that we've got lots of roles, or there's lots of descriptors, and then have a conversation that These are stories about us. These are nouns that go out and describe us and so on, or give us roles. So we're going out and having a really robust conversation afterwards. So that's the who are you exercise. I introduce you to use it, particularly when clients, when they're first being introduced to self as context, they start asking those big questions like, well, if I'm not my thoughts and I'm not my feelings, well then who am I? And we're not saying that they're not their thoughts and they're not their feelings. That is a part of them, but there's that other part that's in the that's that observer, and the observer just is. It just holds things. It just bees. It's kind of like a container where everything can be put in, but the observer is the container, not all the things that we put inside it. And that's another metaphor as well, that you're like a container and all these things go in there, and that you don't go out and identify as any of those things. You're all of those things and the container as well.